What do you mean by free carrier, FCA? The free carrier, FCA, term is used in international trade to indicate that the seller is responsible for delivering goods to a location specified by the buyer, where they are handed over to a carrier chosen by the buyer. The seller's responsibility ends once the goods are delivered to the designated location, which could be a warehouse, shipping terminal, or any agreed place within the seller's country. After this point, the buyer assumes responsibility for the goods, including the risk of loss or damage during transportation. Under the FCA agreement, the seller is not responsible for unloading the goods or for clearing them for export unless otherwise agreed. The buyer, on the other hand, handles the cost of transportation and assumes ownership and risk once the goods are transferred to the carrier. It is a flexible term that can apply to various transportation methods such as truck, train, air, or sea, and it focuses on defining the point of transfer and risk. Incoterms, international commercial terms, such as FCA, are standardized terms used in global trade to clarify the responsibilities of buyers and sellers in international transactions. They outline key aspects like the delivery point, risk transfer, and cost responsibilities. FCA is one of several Incoterms, which include ex-works, EXW, delivered at place, DAP, cost and freight, CFR, and free on board, FOB, each defining the extent of the seller's responsibilities and when the buyer assumes risk and costs. In comparison with free on board, FOB, which applies specifically to sea or inland waterway transport, FCA is more flexible and applies to any mode of transport. In FOB, the risk and responsibility for the goods transfer when they are loaded onto the ship, while in FCA, risk passes as soon as the goods are delivered to the carrier, regardless of the transport mode. Furthermore, in FCA, the buyer arranges the transport from the designated location, while in FOB, the buyer is responsible for arranging the transport and risk only once the goods are on board the vessel. In summary, the key distinction between FCA and FOB lies in the transfer of risk and the point of responsibility. FCA applies to all transportation methods and transfers risk once the goods are delivered to the carrier, while FOB is specific to sea or inland waterway transport and transfers risk when the goods are loaded onto the vessel.